Okay, guys, I'm here to give you your TNA review for April 21st. It's not 21st. It is April 24th, 2014. My bad. Botch. Um, we get Taz and Mike Tenay on commentary. Kurt Angle's back. I was very tired during the show, so my opinion about the show probably will be different than everybody else's opinion. Kurt Angle backstage, because, the reason why I was tired is because I was working. I did mulching yesterday. I'm going to have a picture on that on Facebook just for you guys. It's going to be great. So Kurt Angle's backstage. He's talking about how he wants to have a match with Rockstar Spud, and then he's going to come after EC3 next, which is Ethan Carter III. Magnus promo, he comes out, and he talks about how good help these days is hard to find. And he wants to call on Abyss and tell him to his face what he has to say to him. So Abyss comes out, and Madness is pissed at him that because his job was to make sure that Abyss's job was to make sure that Magnus that he kept the world championship on Magnus. Yeah, Magnus ends up. So he goes off on him, calls him a dumb monster. He's a disappointment. I wonder why anybody's dropped you. Abyss says that does mention though how if anybody interfered in that match, they would have been fired on the spot. So Magnus brings up that you don't work for MVP, you work for me, and he fires him. Abyss says it was never about money. It was about belonging, and because he never felt like he had a place to belong. And then he just says that he wants to kick Magnus's ass. Magnus says that that's not going to happen because if he lays a finger on him, he will press charges. So MVP comes out and he says that Abyss isn't one of his biggest fans right now because, well, he tells Magnus at first because he brought like one of the little fins that sets up the turnbuckles, so he tells him to drop that, but he doesn't do it. And then MVP says that he's not a big fan of Abyss right now since he laid him out with the chair, but he thinks he deserves a second opportunity like MVP did. So he makes a match between him and Magnus, and if Abyss wins that match, he gets a spot on the TNA roster. And then afterwards, Abyss says that he's gonna kick his ass. So I thought it was okay stuff. So Rockstar Spud's backstage, and he doesn't want to hear any of that speech about EC3 telling him to be a lion. And EC3 says he doesn't want him to be any of that. He wants him to be a gazelle. So that's what ends up happening. So we get Rockstar Spud with EC3 in his corner versus Kurt Angle. It was a squash match. Kurt Angle gets an ankle lock in on him. And then EC3 attacks Kurt Angle from behind. He goes to injure his leg again, but then Willow runs out, which is Jeff Hardy's alter ego, and chases off EC3. So that was good, and now it's going to lead to a tag team match. It's at Sacrifice Sunday. It's going to be Willow and Kurt Angle versus EC3 and Rockstar Spud. I'm going to have a prediction video up like after this video. The beautiful people are backstage, which is Angelina Love and Velvet Sky, and they say that they're going to give Madison Rayne a makeover. So MVP and Kenny Ken are backstage, and Kenny Ken's just chilling out in MVP's office, and MVP's like, oh, you just want to chill in my office? So Kenny Ken wants an opportunity to wrestle. MVP says he'll give him an opportunity next, and he won't even tell him who his opponent is. So I guess that was fine. Madison Rayne promo, she calls out the beautiful people. They come out and they say that they're going to give Madison Rayne a makeover. So first she has to learn to forgive for her little child, who's watching I guess. And you should learn to forgive and be a mother. So she forgives for the beating. She attacks the beautiful people, but they're not too much, so they do a number on her. Brittany comes out, which is like her biggest fan, and makes the save. Well, tries to make the save, but she fails. And then Velvet Sky hits that face buster move, and Angelina Love puts a bag with the beautiful people on it, on Angelina Love, with, no, not Angelina Love, on Madison Rayne, which reminded me when Cody Rhodes would wear the mask and he would hand the WWE Universe bags. I remember him doing that, and he would sometimes put bags in his phone, like he's done it to Rey Mysterio and Daniel Bryan. That reminded me of that, so I guess that was fine. And then afterwards, wow, Gail Kim comes up to Madison Rayne, and she wants her to tag with her tonight against the Beautiful People to save the Knockouts division. She agrees to do this, and I don't know what this means for Gail Kim, if she's going to turn face, if this was just a one-time thing. Brittany wants to go out there and help, and Madison Rayne doesn't want to help. I think that's probably going to lead to something in the future, but I don't know what. I forgot to mention that Mr. Anderson was outside. He's going to go to Samuel Shaw's house. He has his address, so he's going to his house. I'm going to actually just cover this now. This got fucking weird. This was so fucking bad. So he goes to the house, and he meets Samuel Shaw's mom, and her name is Christy. And then she gets to meet, and then he goes in the house, and makes him a nice, gives Mr. Anderson a nice tea, and she talks about how she brings pies to Samuel Shaw's in his room once a week. And so that we go to see Samuel Shaw's room. He's downstairs, and Mr. Anderson was like, "Oh my gosh." It gets weirder. He's downstairs, and it's like an 8-year-old's room. He has bunk beds and stuff, and then oh my gosh. Samuel Shaw, I thought this was going to be a setup at first, but no, it was real. Miss Samuel Shaw's like, comes out and says, "What are you doing in my room?" He attacked Anderson. The cameraman runs upstairs, and we don't know what happened with that. So when Samuel Shaw comes up, his mouth's all bloody. We don't know where Mr. Anderson is. And he comes up and he hugs his mom. It got really weird. The cameraman even will speak down and says, "I gotta leave." And he's like, "Samuel, you okay?" Mr. Anderson and Samuel Shaw are going to have a match on Sunday. It's going to be shit, probably. I'm not really interested in this feud. I was interested in Samuel Shaw. This probably just ruined all the interest I ever had for him. So good job about that, TNA. So then Beer Money's backstage, and James Storm comes up to Bobby Roode, and they don't forget, they went up kind of like their past, how like they're heated at each other. How Bobby Roode cracked a beer bottle over James Storm, costing him the world title. But James Storm says, "At least you referenced that I made you a star. At least you referenced you would thank me. Gunner's never thanked me for anything, so I respect you." Bobby Roode talks about how he's been putting Bully Ray through tables. He's going to continue doing it, and they're going to go celebrate afterwards. I thought it was really weird. Well, I thought it was fine, actually. I'm still thinking about that Samuel Shaw stuff. So we get Austin Aries versus MVP. This was a great match. I really liked it. MVP dives on Austin Aries. Austin Aries starts dominating, walks on, I think, the leg, and starts going off on MVP. Goes for the drop kick, misses. MVP starts making his comeback, does the ball-in move, elbow. And then Austin Aries hits MVP hits a German suplex. Austin Aries hits a foot, kind of like a T-bone suplex, and then drop kicks MVP into the turnbuckle. Goes for the 450. MVP moves and hits the drive-by kick for the win. So I thought this was actually a really good match by both guys. So this was good stuff. We get Beer Money, which is James Storm and Bobby Roode. I didn't mention that when they brought it up. Versus Gunner and Bully Ray. It was alright. I was kind of getting tired through this match. Bully Ray sets up a table. No, Gunner has Bully Ray set up a table. No, Bully Ray has Gunner set a table on the outside. And Bully Ray goes to elbow Bobby Roode through the table, but he misses, and he goes through the table. And Gunner tries to ends up F5 in Bobby Roode, and James Storm hits this last call super kick for the win. It was alright. I knew the Beer Money would go over since they're a better tag team. And they've teamed together, obviously, before. We find out, though, at the pay-per-view is going to be James Storm versus Gunner in an I Quit match, and Bobby Roode versus Bully Ray in a tables match. So that should be alright. Magnus interview, I don't remember what he said. I was kind of dozing off. We get the Beautiful People versus Gail Kim and Madison Rayne. This was alright. It was a decent match. Madison Rayne's the legal man. She ends up spearing Velvet Sky, and Angelina Love rolls her up for the win. Now she really getting into the head of Madison Rayne. Mike Knox continues his story. His girlfriend knows how to juggle fire now on sticks. And Mike Knox says he's got to go back to wrestling. I had to stay here, and I got to go back to what's right. And his girlfriend says she's going to go with you. Not going to let him leave again. And it's to be continued. What is there more to be continued about? But I don't know. We get Abyss says is backstage, and he says that he's done a lot of people wrong. He's going to make it right tonight. The Wolves are backstage. They have like this little video package going on, and they said they're gonna finally get the tag team championships. We have all three of the Bromans now. There's no more screw-overs. We should finally get the titles. So we found out we're gonna get the Wolves, which is Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards, I think his name is, versus the Bromans, all of them, Jesse Goddard, Robbie E, and Zima Ion. They call him DJ Zima, but it's Zima Ion. Like they try to call Mike Knox Nux, and it's Mike Knox. I also forgot to mention that Bobby Lashley defeated Kenny King by countout. Bobby Lashley contributes nothing to TNA. Who gives a fuck? So then we get Abyss versus Magnus, and if Abyss wins, he gets a spot on the roster. Eric Young's on commentary. Eventually, Abyss low blows Magnus blows Abyss, causing a disqualification. This was alright. And the match itself is okay, I guess. And then Magnus goes out, gets a chair, and starts going off on Abyss. So then Eric Young comes out, makes the save. He low blows Eric Young and goes off on both of them with the chair, because Abyss is going to invoke his rematch clause at Sacrifice and try to become the new world champion against Eric Young. And that was the end of the show. I didn't like this show. I don't know if it was because I was tired, but I really didn't like that show. Bobby Lashley versus Kenny King, I guess, wasn't a bad match, but it was kind of predictable. Bobby Lashley winning, and it was predictable who his opponent was. The Beautiful People feud, I don't really care about it. I guess it's better when WWE's feud's doing. The Samuel Shaw stuff is out of the fucking awful. The best match of the night was definitely Austin Aries versus MVP, and that's not even building to anything. So TNA kind of sucked this week. Yeah, bye. I'm going to be back with my Sacrifice predictions.